Hello. I haven't spoken in front of a camera in a very long time, but 2020, as a 17-year-old photographer, well, 16-year-old in some of 2020, it has been a lot of
coronavirus!
But there has been a few things that have set 2020 apart from just about any other year, for me at least. I'm going to go through that in a quick milestone, and I'm going to recap some of my most memorable photos throughout 2020, and I'm also going to give you an idea of what I have upcoming for 2021. So,
my name is Michael, and I own a paper company. But you don't care. You care for who I've become.
Michael the Stapler was, I think, looking back on it now, it was something that wasn't the most well crafted, but at the time it was a film that me and two other friends, we filmed in school. Looking back on it now, it is not exactly great. We've all, me, Devin, and Donovan, have all agreed, mutually agreed that the film is kind of cringy at times.
I told him to beg for mercy.
But for what it was, back in February when I first made it and I first was getting into film, I guess, or video, whatever you want to call it, it was impressive, for me at least. So, while everything was going on with
COVID-19,
in April, I decided to cover Pete Davidson's Andre 2000 that was done on SNL.
I got $2,000. I got $2,000. It looks like a lot in the video, but it's only $2,000.
While this isn't technically photography, it kind of sparked this imagination or this creativity, and I don't know what I'm saying. Between April and August, I did practically nothing noteworthy. I did, though, in mid-August have my first wedding shoot, and this was, I can honestly quite literally tell you, this was the moment that I started taking Tyler Photographer almost as entirely different entity on its own, rather than just having me taking pictures and then just putting them on Instagram. This is when I used it as a way to capture moments almost, rather than just capturing, like, you know, buildings or street photography or whatever it may have been. I talked about this whole entire wedding in a whole entire video, so if you want to check that out, you can, but I'm just saying that this first wedding was kind of what took Tyler Photographer to a different level, almost. Skip a couple weeks and I get another wedding. That one was more of an elopement rather than a full-on wedding. And again, that's when I really took Tyler Photography seriously, rather than, like I said, just taking pictures of whatever. In September, you may have seen it around my social media, is my new logo. Created that, plastered that onto every photo I put out there now, and I put that on just about everything else, like my website, my everything really. September, this is when I started to actually go out there. I was starting to get really into car photography, mainly because I'm trying to save up for a new car. I went out to Manassas. I freaking filmed that too, so you can go see that if you want. Failed, got turned down a lot of awkward interactions with a lot of salesmen. But I will tell you this, out of all of that, in October, did the same thing by myself, went out. First dealership I went to near Manassas, Kingstown Motor Cars. I had to check on that one. That's embarrassing. But I did shoot for them, went in. I literally did a video on that one too. I have a video on that one too if you want to go back and check it. Or I might insert it into the video. But I went in there, completely just went like, yo, you want pictures? Wasn't expecting them to say yes. They were like, yeah, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. At first they turned me down. But then they saw my little collage thing, which I have up there, and they were like, oh, these are really good. So, with that, they gave me keys to I think it was a 2017 Mercedes G-Wagon. I'm not too sure. But anyway, took some photos in the parking lot, and then I guess they were impressed with them. They told me to come back in. Got some shots of a Audi RS7. That was really dope. Didn't get video of that one, though. And that's what really made me want to be a car photographer. That, and also taking a lot of pictures of Ari, my Kia Soul. So with that, after that, And furthermore, after that, I started to build my portfolio on my car photography on my Instagram, Facebook, and one of my friends at work, we decided I could take pictures of, I guess it was his dad's Mercedes E350. Got some shots of that, and I have to be honest, these are some of my most favorite car shots I've ever gotten. I'll pop them on screen. But not only did the car look good, but the lighting and everything, I think these were my best shots. And if I could put them on a collage to show to future clients, you already know I'm gonna be doing that. Things were kind of slow throughout November and December. Well, it is currently December, but things have started to pick back up. Throughout maybe August and November, I had a crap ton of family shoots, couple shoots, and a few, personal shoots. I got a few shots of my friend from work, and I think the ones that stand out are of my friend Julian, who I work with. Those ones, I stepped out of my boundary. We went into Old Town Warrenton, got some shots of him practically stripping behind a building. So, with that being said, jumping back into December, things start to pick back up. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but long story short, I did an essay for my school, essay narration thing, and also narration, speaking of which. Watched my video, impressed with that, and the skills I tried to gain from that, I put them into an essay that my school offered me, did that, somehow got first place, and while I was there was a photographer. For the ceremony, after I got first place, there was a photographer there who was working with the local paper, Fuck Your Times, and I approached them, asked if I could do work for them, basically. At first, they gave me a project that was volunteer work, that turned into, payment, paid work, whatever you want to call it, and I guess they were impressed, and now I am a full-on freelance photographer for them, which is really cool. Is it enough to replace me working at Walmart? For the meantime, no. I'm only staying at Walmart to buy a new car. All that aside, that was one, I think that really ended 2020 in a pretty decent note. So yeah, all in all, 2020 for me, between April and August, got nothing done practically. But after August, I put the hammer down and I just ran. I did whatever I could to make Tyler Photographer known and appreciated and acknowledged. And I think for doing that in practically only 6 months, the amount of effort I put into it for the past 6 months, it's kind of crazy. And I've been in photography for about 2 years now. In those 6 months, imagine if I did all of that within 2 years, putting as much work and effort as I have to creating Tyler Photographer as a brand. Imagine if I did that for the past 2 years. Who knows? Who knows where I'll be 2021? Who knows where I'll be? Maybe I'll be sitting in a bigger chair. Maybe I'll have a bigger desk. I don't know. Maybe I'll have the Veloster N that I wanted. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, so who knows what I'll have in 2021. I could be sitting on the streets right now. Who knows? This is not the end of the video. Now, I'm going to talk about some of my most favorite shots from 2020. It's kind of crazy that 2020 has been this whole entire year already. I got my Fuji X-T3 back last November of 2019. Didn't properly start using it till about January, February. And I got some really amazing street shots, or somewhat decent street shots in Old Town Warrenton that I got. And it's kind of crazy looking back at those, thinking that was 2020. And then taking shots now, it's the end of 2020, and in my opinion, I've improved so much that it's kind of crazy to think in just 1 year that, I was taking these boring street shots, barely changing anything in Adobe Lightroom, maybe contrast, exposure, highlights, not really messing with shadow tones or highlight tones, whatever you want to do with that. And then now I'm, messing with all of that to what I know, and I'm creating more elaborate pieces of work, I guess, pieces of art. So that's crazy in my opinion. So let me put it on screen. I don't know where it is on screen, but here's one of my favorite street shots from Old Town Warrenton back in January, maybe February. Then here's another shot from about maybe June, July. Here's another shot from August or September, and here's a few shots from the past 2 months. In my opinion, they have improved a lot, and that's so cool. But it's just really, it's interesting to see. Like you always say, oh, I'm not going to see an improvement because when I work on it, I'm seeing it in front of me as it is. But when you look back on it a year down the road, you do see that difference, and that's what's really cool about this whole photography thing. You can see a difference, and I'm very much aware that lots of photographers go through this plateau or this flat, I guess, line of not improving but not decreasing their quality. So I don't know when I'm gonna hit that. If I'm gonna hit that, I'm sure I will. But as of right now, I feel like I'm on, like the COVID cases, I'm just going straight up. 2021, I have a couple goals in mind. Number one, keep doing, hopefully as in I will be, but doing more work for Faulkner Times. Just the past week, got a DM on Instagram from Kingstown saying they want me to do another shoot with them in mid-January. Hopefully I'll be doing a lot more shoots with them. Number one, build my portfolio. Number two, get to drive some really cool cars. And number three, I get to see these really cool cars, drive these really cool cars, and also get to photograph those really cool cars. So, also, 2021, I will be creating Tyler Photographer as an actual full-on business. I will be signing up for a sole proprietorship in about August, as soon as I turn 18. Sign up for an LLC later down the line. But yeah, 2021, Tyler Photographer is gonna be a thing. It's gonna be real. It's not gonna be some name I gave myself. It's kind of overwhelming, to say the least. And also, 2021, look out for that Veloster N, because that's gonna be coming out soon. And if I get that, when I get that Veloster N, you can expect a lot of cool, crazy, dope car photos of that. So, be on the lookout for that. Around August or so, I'll be getting rid of that Kia Soul, and I'll be trading it in for a nice Veloster N with the performance package. Probably not the 21 model because that one's a little too expensive, but be on the lookout. So 2020. Well, globally you weren't the greatest. For me, you haven't been too awful bad. So 2021, let's make sure we don't trip over our own feet. I guess that's it. I guess that's my last video for 2020. That's cool. It's crazy. 2020. It's all done. I'll see you in 2021.